Guys, I don't know why this year I feel like everyone, including myself, skipped Halloween and we all moved to Christmas. I think the exception was makeup artists, because I saw a lot of makeup options, but crafters, not so much. I saw very few like patterns, very few projects that people did for this Halloween. I suppose that's just what sometimes happens. You know, sometimes a banana is just a banana. But that was interesting to notice. Anyway, Christmas is here. This is Julia and Julia's Knitting. Grab your favorite beverage and join me. Let's talk Christmas crafting. I made a lot of decorations for Christmas. I actually started with these pretzels here. And they seemed so cute. But after making the things with beads on them, I kind of fell in love with them. Like every next thing I make, I like more than the previous one. And I know that it's going to change. Like next year, I pull them all out. Well, the ones I don't give away. And I know I'm gonna love them all. Let me tell you about everything I'm making for Christmas, for me and for other people. First of all, I just happened to have this white cotton yarn, this very fine cotton yarn that I used for doilies. I used this video on TikTok to make these snowflakes. You see, these ones are a little bit bigger than these ones. That's because this yarn was a little bit thicker than this yarn. The same crochet hook, but a little bit different yarns. And I have like 4 of these, 4 of the bigger ones and 5 of the smaller ones. And I will see, I have an option to make a garland out of it, and it will be one garland for me, for example. Or maybe I will want to add a snowflake to presents. You know, when I wrap the presents, I feel like it could be very, very nice to have them. But then every person who gets this present will have one snowflake. And it's kind of, I don't know what to do with one snowflake. Well, you could, I'm going to use some starch to make them stiff, you know, but so you can use it as a Christmas ornament. But when it's one, it's not that fun. I like the idea of joining them into a garland more. They are very fast to make. Like one snowflake takes maybe 15 minutes, maybe less than 15 minutes, but let's say 15 because, you know, to hide the ends and everything. You probably already know that I also made lots and lots of slippers. These are Christmas presents. I have so far 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pairs of slippers. The tutorial is on my channel. I think it's the previous video. And they are also very fast to make. I make a pair in an hour and a half. I can make a pair in an hour and a half. I usually get distracted and I make them like in 2 days. But also, I'm always thinking about, you know, forgetting you need a present for someone and having time or having an opportunity to make it fast, but for it to not be like something you buy on the way to a party, but it's still being a thoughtful, meaningful, like dedicated to the person gift, but it takes a little bit of time. They are crocheted. They are a very nice stash buster. You can just grab all the yarn you have, mix it all together, make one thick yarn out of it and make a pair. I made several pairs for grown-ups and just 1 pair for a child. These in particular look very cute, right? That's why they're my favorite, because they're small. I wear them all the time. I know that I'm gonna wear them, but usually people who get these from me, they just use them, you know, to get cozy in the evening. They wear them sometimes and so on. So they don't use them as often as I do. And that's why I know they are gonna last longer. Mine last like a season, maybe a season and a little bit more. But these are gonna last longer because of that. So that's also nice. Look at that. I'm making this neckerchief for my friend. Kate, if you're watching, act surprised when you get this. I had this yarn. This was actually a headband I wore several times because the color just doesn't suit me. Look at that. Maybe it doesn't seem that bad here, but you know, when I wear it, it's not my color. That's it. It's not my color. But I know that her favorite colors are blue and this mustard yellow. And the yarn is amazing. It's a very good yarn. And I was thinking, why am I kind of gatekeeping this yarn for myself because it's good? Why am I doing this? I should use the yarn and someone should use the garment, right? Because it's the worst thing for me is when something is not being used or not being used enough, you know. So I unraveled this headband and I'm making this this neckerchief. As you can see, I already reached the middle and I started decreasing. This one is going to be, I hope I'm not disturbing the mic. You see, this is the middle. Where is it? Let's say here. And you will just have enough to make the knot, and that's it, a handkerchief. And she lives in a warm climate. I think she will use it she will like using it. Because for me, I live in Finland, and last year I used such a neckerchief under a scarf. So I wore this and a scarf over it, because it can get very cold here. But for her, I think this alone will be enough. It is going very slowly because it's garter stitch. I hate garter stitch because of that. I absolutely love how it looks, but it's a real pain in the ass because it's shorter, it's much shorter than stockinette stitch. So you have to knit and knit and knit and knit to just see, you know, some result. But it looks amazing, I have to admit. I would really like to finish it today because today is a day off and I don't have like a lot left to do. I want to finish it. Also, I have been beading like crazy. I saw this video on YouTube, then I saw the same video or maybe the similar video from the same creator here on YouTube, and I started making these hearts immediately. And I haven't stopped since. As you can see, I've made 5, actually I've made 6. I know I have one more. I remember what it looks like, but I cannot find it. That's okay, I hope I will. You have this option of, you know, I had these beads. They were like in my stash. That's why I chose the colors of the felt I'm using that suits the beads. You know, now I'm thinking, and I like the green on green, blue on blue, but now I'm thinking that you could go contrast, right? You could sew black beads on red or pink felt. My favorite is this black one because it's gothic. I think I'm gonna give it to my brother. The thing is, I will link this video I used as a tutorial, but you can basically see what you need to do, right? You sew the beads on the felt and then you fill the 2 layers of felt with polyfill or something. And if you want, you can make both sides beaded. That's what I was going to do at first, but then when I found out how much time that takes, I thought, no. I'm not going to do that. If you're making just one for yourself, why not? Maybe that's worth it. Or you just like it, you have time, maybe you are faster than me at sewing beads. I made 6 of those, even though I have just 5 here. The pretzels, they are just I-cords shaped as pretzels. And the sprinkles of salt or sugar on them is just, well, I tried different techniques. I tried beads, I tried different kinds of thread, and my favorite is this one, and these 2 are my favorites, these 2, because they look like you could eat them. Maybe also you are imagining a pretzel you have actually had in your life, right? And it can be darker or lighter. This is the one with beads, and you see it, you can barely see them, and that's why I don't like it so much. But they do like a lot like sugar. They look very sugary. Maybe different beads, maybe different yarn, maybe both, you know, will give you that effect. My beads are transparent. Yours might be more into white, and that might be better. I'm saying that to encourage you to try different options. Kind of the same approach, but a different shape. This is also an I-cord shaped into a bow, and I used the beads to decorate them. I probably like them least of all because of how I made them. I'm imagining a different yarn. I'm imagining probably, I don't like the beads here, maybe mohair, you know, or some kind of halo yarn, and no beads, or maybe just a couple of beads right here in the center, and that's it. That might be better. But I love the idea. I don't love these bows I have, but I love the idea. I think it's a nice idea that needs just a little bit of working. I also bought yarn for Christmas presents. This is for a present for my niece. I want to make the same neckerchief. I call it neckerchief because I'm not using any pattern, but it looks a lot like Sophie scarf or any neckerchiefs you have seen in the stores probably. I want to make one with this beige yarn. It's kind of her color. This is Drops Air, and I have been meaning to try knitting with this yarn for a long time. I haven't ever done this. So far I'm loving it. It's very soft. It's the right yarn for this garment around your neck, near your neck. And this is a present for me actually. And I was thinking of making a beanie with no fold so that I could wear these on top of it, because that has been my dream for a long time. And I was thinking that black is something I will always I will always be able to wear black. But when I came home, I opened my Ravelry like saves, and I can't remember, and I saw that I wanted to make a hood, a black hood from Drops Air. And now I'm thinking that it is also an option to wear these on my ears, obviously, and then to wear a hood on top of it. It's possible. I love this idea because you can take off the hood, put on the hood, like return it. And I have been wanting to make and to wear a hood for a long time. I think I'm going to buy 5 more balls of this yarn, and I'm going to make this hood. And I'm going to see how it works out. Maybe I will need a beanie too, after all, but this is what I want to do. I know that if I don't do that, I will just continue thinking about it, and, you know, it will never leave my head. So this is a present for me. And the last thing, I think I have already showed it to you, but now I'm showing it to you as a finished Christmas present. It's a hobby yarn. I bought it and I made it in summer, I guess. Maybe I finished in September. It is one skein, what was it, a cake, 1 cake of yarn. I bought it keeping in mind that I want to make a long scarf out of one cake of yarn. You see, it changes the colors, and this is the scarf for my cousin, and these are her colors. I'm imagining she will like these colors, and I'm imagining her outfits, and she has, I think that will fit her and her clothes. It has been finished for a long time, and that's what makes me happy, you know, having everything ready in time for Christmas. This is the simplest cable. It's just wide and, you know, long. It looks impressive. And that means that the last thing to share with you is the book of the week. I don't think I told you that I finished The Paris Bookseller. Finally. I loved it. You know, it's an interesting thing. I was reading and reading and reading it. I was even thinking about not finishing it. It was boring. Sometimes it was good again, sometimes it was boring again. So in general, it's quite boring, meaning I don't consider boring being an offensive word. So if you like boring, like if you like fishing or sitting, or, you know, if you are such a person, like not always an action person, it is a normal book, a usual book, not anything special, but, you know, it's a good book. But not special, meaning no adventures there, but it is basically the story about publishing James Joyce's Ulysses. And when I started reading this, I knew that, but I thought there would be a little bit about that among other stuff. But now I would say it's mostly about that. But obviously, all the people are mentioned there that you imagine talking about this Shakespeare & Co. Bookstore in Paris, like Hemingway and Gertrude Stein, and obviously James Joyce, and, you know, the painters, the writers, mostly the writers, of course, and the publishers of those time. A little bit of politics and, you know, life going on, a little bit, just a little bit. The process of reading was 6 out of 10, you know, not bad, not good. But the result is kind of 8 out of 10 probably, maybe even 9, because it's a very good book, because I love the result. I didn't like the process much, and I'm thinking that I might be the reason, because I struggle with reading lately. So you might actually enjoy it, but the result was totally worth it. Also, this summer I read A Movable Feast, and these two pair very nicely together. After reading this one, I was sure at some point I was going to read Ulysses next. But because there is so much about it that you need to find out what's going on there. I haven't read Ulysses yet. But, you know, I have a list, and I have a lot more books in the list to read. So I was thinking to take a break and reading Ulysses a little bit later. But I am imagining that A Movable Feast, The Paris Bookseller, and Ulysses might be, I don't know, if you are maybe looking for a present for a book lover, these 3 might be a nice, what to call it, series? Not a series, but I don't know what to call it, you know, a company or companions, 3 companions that might be enjoyed one after the other. And now I'm reading, well, I have been reading Richard III by Shakespeare for a while now, but I'm not reading it. I'm more studying English, probably. I'm just, you know, studying his language, sometimes reading it out loud. Sometimes, you know, I watch this wonderful lady on TikTok who talks about Shakespeare. She's an actress. She's specifically a Shakespeare actress, and she talks about like how this was written, why this was written this way, and what he meant to say, and how we sometimes misread. We don't get the things that are in the book because, for example, the pronunciation has changed or the meaning has changed. But she talks about this a lot, and I sometimes, you know, watch her video and then read a piece from here just to compare. That is just to, I don't know, I like studying languages. I like languages in general, so I like studying this. And the thing I'm reading for fun is, you guessed it, I watched the film. While watching the film, I was trying to remember, like, was it like that in the book? Was it like this in the book? Did that happen in the book? And of course, a lot of stuff I didn't remember, so I am trying to refresh my memory. Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. It is kind of a comfort reading for me. I I read it when I was, I don't know, maybe 17, 19, something like that. You know, it's such a book that you, when I was starting to read it, I already knew a lot about it. And right now, I listened to one, well, I watched a video. A cinematography critic talked about this film and his films in general. He said some things I haven't considered before, or he highlighted some things that I didn't consider important. When I was a teenager, I didn't think about it. It was more of a adventure, sci-fi, medical book for me. The story about something unreal, something very unusual happening. But right now it was a story about respect, I would say, about who is really the monster among them, about having the right, do we have a right to play gods? Do we have a right to play even maybe not gods, but, you know, take more responsibilities than we can, and then acting like it wasn't our responsibility in the first place. So a lot to think about, and this sci-fi unreal stuff was in the background for me this time when I was watching the movie. And while I'm reading it, I just started, but right now it amazes me. I completely forgot about these letters in the beginning and the descriptions of this ship going to, not even the ship, the person, right, the man going to through this sailor journey, through this kind of making himself stronger and so on, describing the Russian cold and wintry climate, describing these seas, the cities he visits. I love it so far. I just started, but it looks like I will enjoy it. And that's it. That's all my Christmas knitting so far. I hope to do much more, and I hope I am gonna post another video of Christmas, knits and crafts, meaning sharing some patterns, maybe what you could make for Christmas, you know, little things like that. And also, of course, showing you what I managed to finish and what I didn't. I'm sure I will not have time for everything. Thanks a lot for being with me. Leave a comment. What are you making this Christmas? What are you making for yourself or for someone else, from your family, friends, and so on? I need ideas, as always. This was Julia and Julia's Knitting. See you next time. Bye.